You may have noticed that during all the spraying of finish on the previous sanding sealer applications, I have not put any sealer or finish on these rings with the maple segments. That's because I'm going to burn letters and numbers on these maple segments. To put those letters in place, I've gone to my computer and I've just played around with a word processing program and selected a font. This happens to be called Chalkboard, and I printed out a sheet on Mylar of these letters and numbers. I can cut this up into little pieces now, stick them on those maple segments, and proceed to do the burning, which I'll show next. So the burning of letters and numbers on these is pretty simple. I've cut up my little pieces. I've already burnt this number 3, and I'll burn one of these for you just so you can see the process. But you need several things. First, a comfortable chair. You need some good light, and it doesn't hurt to have some magnification. Just makes it a lot easier. The plastic that this is printed on just burns away, and when I peel it off, I may have to go back and fill in a few voids. Now, before putting finish, it needs a good buffing. Sometimes there'll be a little speck of plastic to remove. The finishing is the same as the other rings, sanding sealer followed by the spray def. So here's my prototype. You can see the inner sleeve, which I've done here with a slot. And you can see the spacer ring. It's also got a matching slot. So I'll need to do that kind of work on this spacer. I've got to put a notch there. And I've got to do the same thing on these rotating rings. I'll have to have a notch in the right spot to form the combination. To create my notches, I'm using a brad point bit, and that's important. You don't want this drill bit to wander. These are fairly fragile, so you have to go slow and easy. On the colored rings, it's really important that I get this hole drilled in the right segment or short stave. So I'm marking these carefully, and then the same drilling operation, although I had to move the fence a little further from the bit. And after these are all drilled, I have to clean those holes up. A little Dremel tool action here, just to get smooth surfaces and to eliminate that curve where it curved back in. Okay, time to put the dark ring, or at least the first dark ring, on my tube here. So I've selected this ring. I've got to line up this opening with the slot. So I'm going to eyeball that on there. And then, as you can see, I've gone a little bit past. And I'll put these little blocks of wood underneath, which are leftover segments. And I'll bring this down. So now I've got a nice parallel fit all the way around. I'm going to tip it upside down, and I'm going to take some gap filling CA glue. I'm going to put a bead around this side, and then to force the glue down into any seam that might exist, using a Q-tip, just kind of pushing that glue down into that seam. And then a little accelerator. My first ring with the gap goes on here. Okay, it's a little snug. And I definitely want this to be smooth acting. So there's a few ways to get this opening a little bigger. One way would be to go to a drill press with this kind of a little drum sander and do this kind of motion and check, and do a little more and check. Open this up a little bit bigger. What I've got here is a spindle sander. That's a drum that goes up and down. It oscillates as it spins. It's a handy tool. I don't use it very often, but it sure is nice when I need one. So I'm going to take my ring, put it over here, and then I'm just going to rotate like this. I'm kind of moving it in my hand so the finger pressure gets distributed all the way around. So we'll give this a try on here, see how. Oh yeah, this is looking good. I want to be able to spin that. It needs to be, loose enough so it'll move relatively easy. I don't want it super sloppy, but I don't want it tight. Next ring. To keep this from binding, I'm going to put just 2 layers of wax paper, like a little mini spacer. So I've got 3 pieces positioned around there. You definitely want to use the gap filling, not the thin. No. If you use this, it's going to run down and it's going to affect how free this will spin. It'll probably lock it up. It's important that you work quickly and that the dark rings be fairly snug. Otherwise, the glue is going to run down that tube and mess up the rotational freedom of these other rings. Now remember when we made these, we put a little radius on these corners. That's because there might be a little bit of glue there that'll interfere. Here's my second spinning ring. Here's one more tip. Just to keep them really free spinning, I'm using a spray stuff called top coat. I'll put some on a paper towel and wipe it around the inside of my rings before I install them. It might not be necessary, but I figured it couldn't hurt. Now as you assemble these, if a dark ring is just too tight and you don't want to sand that much off, you can always go back to the lathe. Using a spacer and some rubber padding, these can be remounted and just take a smidgen off the inside of these, a lot faster than try to sand a whole lot of material. You have to assemble these rings one at a time. The dark rings need to be snug, the colored rings need to spin freely. It's just a step at a time kind of process. But pay attention to any glue that gets in the wrong spot. Keep checking for the spin. It's not that tough, but it does take a few minutes. This part here is going to get cut off flush, and this is going to get sanded flush, because this is where the end cap of my container is going to sit. This is the top of the container. The assembly of the maple rings with the numbers and letters is really no different, but you do have to be careful not to put a ring in upside down. So my rings are all installed, and they all turn pretty nicely. Before putting the peg holes in the containers, I want to protect these surfaces, so I'm putting several coats of sanding sealer buffed in between on all the containers. Now I'm doing kind of a risky bandsaw cut here. Cutting something round on a bandsaw is never a good idea, but I've got these special handles with foam rubber which allows me to get a real firm grip. Be careful if you try that low. And then a little disc sanding gives me a good surface on the ends here.